Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am back with another custom age birthday card. This time it's for a teen and I find these particularly hard to make. But I think this one turned out really cute, so I'm going to show you how I made it. As with all of my custom age birthday cards, I start off in my Cricut design space. I make a couple of rectangles that are going to be as big as my card base and my card front, and then I type out the number that I need after I find a font that I like, and then I make it the right size for my card. And then I play around with the size to make it the right size for my card. This way I know it's going to fit once my Cricut cuts it out. Today's card is super simple. All I needed for this was my card base, a piece of white cardstock for my card front, and I'm using the Bake with Love set. I was going to use my set with my little mice, but I decided a bit later on that it just didn't need the extra images. Here I am rounding the corners for my card front, prepping it to get stamping and inking. So I'm covering this card front with my anti-static powder, and that's because I'm going to be embossing all over it. This is a little bit tricky to see because I'm stamping on white and using white embossing powder. So I'm taking some of my favorite images from the Baked with Love stamp set and I'm going to stamp all over this background. Once I had picked my favorite images from this set, I began stamping them one image at a time all over. And although it's hard to see in this video, I was lucky I was on an angle where I could see where I had stamped. But every 3 to 4 times I had stamped, I made sure I stopped and covered my images with embossing powder. I did notice that if I did more than that, my ink would start to dry and my images weren't very clear when they were embossed. Once all of my embossing was done, it was then time to ink up my background. Now I've seen this done quite a few times by a bunch of different creators, so I was really excited to give this a go. So because my stamps were embossed and raised, when I rub the ink over it, it kind of reveals them. I'm using some really bright colours for this background, some One Lipstick, seedless preserves, and picked raspberries. And I started with my lightest colour first, doing a few different patches and then moving on to my darker colours. Once the darkest colour is done, I then go back to the lightest colour and blend where they all join. I'll leave you with a little music as I finish this off. I love how that background turned out and how bright those colours are. Now to move on to my sentiment. I am just using a piece of black scrap cardstock and stamping on the sentiment, "Have a sweet birthday." And I'm going to be cutting this where it says birthday so that I can have a sweet 17th birthday. For this I'm just using some white embossing powder again. Now that I had given my inky background to dry, it was time to add some sparkle and shine to this. I'm using my coloured sparkly watercolour pigments, and I'm using the pink this time, flicking that all over my background just to add another layer of dimension and sparkle. Now, even though these watercolour pigments are coloured, I find that they still end up very silver and sparkly, so I'm also using some of the colours that I used to blend the background, watering them down a little bit and sprinkling them over the top as well. So we've got the sparkly ones and the bold coloured ones. We're now at that point where I'm prepping my card front to stick onto my card base. So I'm using a nice thick double-sided tape to hold this one down. Now on to the main part of the front of my card. Here are those numbers that I cut out with my Cricut. I have cut them out in both white and black cardstock, and I'm going to layer them, and I'm sticking them down so that they just don't match, so that it gives the little illusion that there is a bit of shadow here. I felt like the white cardstock looked a little too plain on my very bright background, and this kind of just breaks it up a little bit, and I think it makes it stand out just a little bit more. I've also cut out a TH from one of my Lawn Fawn alphabet die sets, and I'm doing the same with them. As they dry, I'm going to sprinkle some matching colours from the background over the top. I really did love the white, but it was just a little bit too bright and plain. And I really like these colours. Once they were dry, I then grabbed some of my Kids Adhesive craft foam and I just cut it into strips and bits and pieces and began sticking them on the back of these numbers. I really wanted these numbers to stand out and have a lot of dimension to them, and this foam is nice and thick. After applying some double-sided tape to the back of my numbers, it was then time to stick them down and finish off this card. It was now time to remove the double-sided tape backing and stick my card front onto the card base. And there we have it. This card is complete. I love the colours, I love the background, it's so different to what I normally make. I'll leave you with some photos of the finished card. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be back very soon with some more creative work. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!